All right, let's jump into the Bills and the Raiders. Now, the Bills are 3-0 and the Raiders are 2-1, so both a little bit of surprise for both of these teams. I think we expected the Bills to be good, but not as good as they are on offense. And the Raiders have been pretty surprising, with the exception of their loss last week. Have looked pretty good on offense and decent on defense as well. So another game with a really high over-under here, 53 points. The Bills are only projected to win by 3, which I'm not really sure why. Vegas seems to like the Raiders at home. Again, we saw on Monday night there were a lot of flags that went their way in week 2 when they're at home. So maybe Vegas having a football team is not the best idea. We'll see if any shenanigans happen like that again, but I'm obviously just joking here. So the Bills have actually been a really good defense to play against, which is a little bit opposite of what we expected heading into the year. Prior in 2019, we saw the Bills were a defense that you wanted to avoid, whereas now the Bills are a defense you kind of want to exploit. So they're giving up the 9th most points to quarterbacks, the 9th most points to wide receivers, the 10th most to tight ends. They've been a little bit better against the run, but I think that's because teams have had to throw the ball against them because Josh Allen has been putting up so many points. The Raiders have been decent, as I mentioned, against every position except for the running back. They have given up like top end numbers to the running back 3 weeks in a row. Yes, they did play Christian McCaffrey. Yes, they did play Alvin Kamara in week 2. So it's to be expected that they give up a lot of points, but then they gave up a 30-point game to Rex Burkhead last week. So maybe at some point we just have to question whether or not the Raiders are a bad run defense. So we're going to, of course, keep that in mind, even though when it turned in terms of how we look at the Bills, obviously Josh Allen is the running back one there, but Devin Singletary should have himself a nice game. So let's talk about the Bills first. Of course, you're starting Josh Allen. He's been on such a hot streak. He's done everything and more that you could have expected from where you drafted him. So you're going to stay in the flames there. As we mentioned, the Raiders are the worst defense in terms of stopping the run. So we'll throw Devin Singletary out. Looks like Zach Moss could miss another week, making that target and touch concentration go way more towards Singletary. Just don't expect any goal line carries. Stefon Diggs has been another wonderful surprise, drafting him late. He probably should have gotten drafted quite a few rounds before where he did. So you're ecstatic if you drafted Stefon Diggs. I think this is going to be another good week for him. Now, the question is, will John Brown play? The way that it's trending right now, I'm going to say no. So if John Brown is out, I think you can slot Cole Beasley in. And if you're in an absolute pinch, I think you can throw Gabriel Davis out there, although I've tried to avoid it if you can. I just know with 2 teams randomly having a bye week, you're probably going to have to play some names that you weren't looking at playing heading into this week. So Gabriel Davis is a guy to check out on your waiver wire if you're in need. Bills defense are a really good start here. I still don't believe in the Raiders. I know they won their first 2 games, but the Panthers defense hasn't really been that great. The game against the Saints was a bit of a surprise for me, but then seeing the way they played against the Patriots last week was a bit more what I was expecting. So I don't know. They're at home, so it could be a close game. Vegas thinks it's going to be a close game. I just don't buy it. So I think the Bills defense are a strong play here. I know I said don't start Tyler Kroft last week. I apologize. There was no way I could have guessed that he was going to throw 2 touchdowns, but hey, that's how it goes. So are you going to throw Tyler Kroft back out there? Absolutely not. Unless you're in an absolute desperate situation, you're truly just chasing points at that moment, and there's no guarantee that he even sees anything this week. So trying to avoid that situation there. And then, like I said, I think Zach Moss is out, so TJ Yeldon would be the backup, but he barely saw the ball at all on Sunday, so we're not even considering his name at this point. On the Raiders side, Josh Jacobs has had that really good week 1 and then has been disappointing. It's basically the exact way that we predicted it. This was one of the calls that we've been pretty spot on about Josh Jacobs. We knew he was going to have a good game against Carolina because Carolina hasn't been able to stop running backs for a long time. So Josh Jacobs blows up. We recommend you sell high. If you're still stuck with him, you're kind of got to ride it out now. So the Bills have actually been better against the run than the pass. So this could be another down week for Jacobs, but it's not like you can bench him. There's so many injuries to the running back position. You're pretty much stuck. I don't imagine you have a situation where you can actually talk yourself out of starting him. And he'll probably still finish, in the running back 2 category. Now, Hunter Renfrow is a really interesting name here with both Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards leaning towards being out this week. Hunter Renfrow was the number 1 target for Derek Carr last week. He plays predominantly in the slot. Tre'Davious White does not typically go and cover people in the slot, so he probably won't be looking out towards Renfro's way as long as he stays in the slot. And the Bills have given up quite a few fantasy points. We just saw Cooper Kupp have an explosion game against the Bills playing out of the slot. So Hunter Renfrow is a really sneaky start this week. I don't even feel like that is something that you have to convince me to put into your lineup. He's at least a wide receiver 3 with plenty of upside this week. Darren Waller, of course, you're going to be starting Darren Waller. He had a down week last week, but don't expect that to happen again. Bills are surrendering a lot of points to tight ends. Derek Carr, probably don't have to play him unless you're in a 2-quarterback league. I do think there would be enough points scored here that you can consider him in that format, but not in a single quarterback league. And then Foster Moreau, you're literally just chasing the potential for a touchdown. So basically the same as Tyler Kroft. We're not going to be chasing those points. No one else here on the Raiders I'm remotely interested in. The target split outside of Hunter Renfro just is absolute garbage. And I do think the Bills win this one a bit wider of a margin than Vegas is expecting. I have the Bills winning this one 35 to the Raiders scoring 24.